Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wild About Gear, your one-stop shop for outstanding gear reviews, conversations and discussions on gear that you can use in your life and use them as a data point and a reference point for you to take a decision maybe. So I get this question a lot. Which folding knife should I take for camping? And my answer always is, please don't take a folding knife for camping. If you need to take a knife for camping, the only reason you would need a folding knife is because you would want it to be compact and easy to carry. And there are many compact and easy to carry options in fixed blade knives that are full tang, that will not break on you, that do not have the issues of a folding knife has. To give you an example, this is the outstanding SE Candiru. Now you can just look at this. This knife is so small and so compact and yet incredibly versatile in its usage. So why would you need a folding knife? But this is not what the review is about, so I'll keep this aside for the time being. You could also look at the SE Izula 2. Now in this case, in this knife of course, I have had a friend who's removed the black coating and actually converted this, if you can see it, converted this into a convex grind, gorgeous convex grind. This knife is a beautiful, beautiful knife. Look at the thickness of the tang and look at the fact that the tang goes all the way through. So again, you do not need to have a folding knife if you can have a fixed blade knife of this size. Or for that matter, the Cold Steel Roach Belly. Now that is a cool blade. Now this knife is beautiful because it's perfect for camping chores. It's perfect for food prep, as you can see. It actually looks almost like a chef's knife. And I have always found that any knife that fulfills the role in the kitchen is actually a great option. So yeah, I mean, you could go with a knife like this, slightly bigger than this one, the SE, and of course a lot bigger than the SE Candiru, but any of these three knives are compact enough to carry with you on a camping trip without any problems. Having said that, if it was a hypothetical question, what would be the camp knife to take, or a knife for camping to take, which is the backup blade? And I reinforce the concept of a backup blade here. A backup blade that allows me to carry a folding knife because of its convenience. Well, as a hypothetical question, I would have to give you only one answer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Cold Steel American Lawman. Let me remove these for the time being. Give me 1 second. And bring this gorgeous blade back into focus in our lives. Now there are two things that are critical in a folding knife that you would want to take camping. The first absolutely essential thing is the locking mechanism. If you have a knife that doesn't have the most strong locking mechanism possible in a folding knife, it is evident and possible that this knife will break exactly here when you're doing any hard use task with it. So it's critical to have a fantastic locking mechanism. The second thing that it must have is versatility, as in it should be able to do multiple tasks that you would want to put the knife through on a regular basis. The third thing, of course, is the fact that it needs to be strong enough to do wood carving or wood processing as opposed to just food processing. Very, very important that it should have a very good grip. If this slips out of your hand, I mean, if any of these knives slip out of your hand, it causes some serious damage to you as a person. And of course, it needs to have a great ergonomics and shapes, right? So I'll quickly take you through with some of my key reasons for choosing this as an alternative camp knife should you need to carry a folding knife with you. As I said, I don't recommend a folding knife for camping tasks, but should you need one, this is the one for you. First and foremost, this knife weighs around 125 grams. Now that is seriously light. And one of the key reasons for that is that if you can see, there are no steel liners in this. These are two big slabs of G10 on the handle. Now G10 is a material that is can be made extremely grippy, and in this case, this knife is extremely grippy. This will not slip out of your hand. In fact, this G10 is so grippy that I can assure you that it will fray your denim trouser pockets when you clip it on here. So around 125 grams, great weight, perfect for carrying on a camping chore. I never usually clip it on my pocket. I usually carry it in a carry case like this, and I hook it onto my belt or I carry it in my bag. But I never usually put it in my pocket because it's so unnecessary. Having said that, the first thing, of course, is its lock. Now this knife has what we call the triad lock from Cold Steel. Outstanding locking mechanism. To give you an example of what this means, let me see where I can get my light. You can see that it has a very deep cut here. So to give you an example, if you see, this is a very deep cut, and this bar here locks into that cut. The mechanism is like this. This is the knife here, right, which is like this, and this is the locking bar, and it locks like this. And it is, I can assure you, probably the strongest locks possible. Even if you lock your hand like this, you can see how powerful that is. It's the same mechanism. The other interesting thing is that when this clicks, you can hear that audible click with authority. What also is happening is that there is this bar here that you can see. There is a bar here that really takes all the weight of this knife. That bar is where all the weight is concentrated, in the center. Now what that means is that the blade is not transferring its weight onto this bar, but it's actually transferring it onto this bar in the center. You can see that. What that allows you to do is that it gives tremendous traction control, and at the same time gives a lot of rigidity to this blade. I can assure you, and you can see multiple videos of the Cold Steel American Lawman on YouTube, and you will find that by and large, this series of knife, and this includes the Recon 1 as well, these series of knife with the Cold Steel Triad lock are by and large the strongest locking mechanism knives in the folding knife category, probably in the world today. Having said that, that's of course one of the things that you will notice. The second thing is that it has a very nice opening mechanism. It opens very smoothly. Very smoothly. And closes one hand as well, should you want to. But it's a beautiful one-hand opening mechanism that you have here. The third element, of course, is versatility. Now, if you look at this knife, this is a drop point knife shape. So if you see, let me use a pointer here. My pointer today is my Uzi tactical pen. Now, if you see this knife shape, it's beautiful. It has a drop point blade and so much belly here. There is so much belly on this knife, which means that it'll be beautiful for cutting tasks like slicing, vegetable preparation, food preparation, any task that involves the knife to be used in a beautiful slicing action. This knife would be perfect for. Another important thing to notice is the fact that you can actually choke up on this blade. There's enough space here for you to choke up on this blade. What that means is that you can do fine tasks on this. It's a fairly thick blade. So if you see this, the way this knife comes across is that you can see just how strong that tip is. The blade carries on all the way till almost the end, at which time you have the tip that moves in. So you can just see just how powerful this tip is. So in case you're digging into wood like this, there is really no problem. You will have no blade play whatsoever. There is absolutely no blade play on this knife. Top to bottom, front to back, zero blade play. Extremely strong knife. The other thing I love about this knife is the fact that it has two choils. I'm a big fan of double choils. Now I'll tell you why. First of all, when you hold the knife like this, you can see how it is impossible for your finger now to come out. It's locked into this area, right? It's locked in. Your finger is not going to slip out and come this far. And that, in my opinion, is a fantastic way in which to protect your hand, and it's a protection mechanism when you're using the knife. The second reason I love a double choil is that you can actually choke up on the knife. And once you've choked up on the knife, you can do some fine cutting tasks. For example, you could do some carving, you could do some wood preparation, you can make feather sticks. You can actually do some very, very fine work on this knife simply by the ability of having double choils and for you to choke up on the knife, as you can see right now. This knife, if you can see, has what we call a hollow grind. Let me clean this for a second. Otherwise my fingerprints get imprinted. So this knife has what we call a hollow grind. You can see how from here the knife kind of hollows out till it reaches the secondary bevel and then the edge. What that allows you to do is to do a lot of fine cutting tasks. It's a beautiful slicer, and it's one of the better working knives in the camp, that very, very versatile again. Fine needle nose tip almost, and I say almost needle nose tip because you can, as you can see, you can actually do some fine tasks with the tip. Remember, I just banged the tip on the wood and nothing's happened to the tip, as you can see. Such a powerful knife. But you can actually do some fine work with it. In case there's a splinter in your hand, you could remove splinters, you could dig into wood. You can do many, many versatile tasks with this extremely strong and powerful tip. Now let's come to the handle. The handle has G10 slabs, and if you can see the texturing here, it's extremely, extremely aggressive. This will not come out of your hand. Once you hold this knife in your hand, it's almost impossible for it to come out. At the back of your knife, on the G10 slabs, there is some amount of texturing, but really, I mean, it doesn't do much. The knife actually doesn't need it at all because of the sheer texturing that you have in the handle, as well as this deep choil that will make sure that your hand doesn't slip out. The clip really is ordinary. I wouldn't say that this is the best clip. What this actually does is a very strong clip, as you can see, very, very strong and powerful clip, but it will shred your trousers. If you are going to put this clip into your trousers, this part here where the clip meets this extremely aggressive G10, this part is going to just lacerate your trouser pockets, and you're going to run out of trouser pockets fairly soon. So my suggestion is don't carry it in your trouser pocket, carry it in a case. Put it on your belt if you want. It'll be a much more ergonomic way to carry this knife. Very simple construction, very ergonomic construction. Love the blade, love the way it performs. Now, are there other blades like this? And the answer is yes, of course there are other blades in the same category, so to speak, as a hard-use camp knife. What could be those blades? Well, first of all, let me give you an example. This is the all-time great knife. This is the Buck 110 Folding Hunter. Has been around for years. In fact, this is the Folding Hunter is probably the knife that is the most copied in the whole world. The outstanding ICA Swede 62 from Sweden. This knife is manufactured in Eskilstuna in Sweden, the Zollingen of Sweden. An outstanding blade. Look at that blade shape. Look at the Scandinavian grind on this. Love it. You can just beat on this knife and nothing will happen to it. Yeah, you can put this through its paces as well. Strong, powerful construction. You can see the wooden bolsters, the brass bolsters, the wooden knife, the strong back lock. Extremely strong and powerful knife. Or for that matter, you could look at the Puma Folding Hunter as well. This is from Germany, from Zollingen, right? Now, there are other knives too in this category. A lot of my friends would love to carry the paramilitary too. There's a Spyderco paramilitary too. Beautiful, beautiful knife. Or for that matter, the Spyderco military. Look at the size of that blade. Unless you hold the Spyderco military in your hand, you really have no way to appreciate the beast this knife is. The problem with this, of course, is that it's not such a strong locking mechanism. It's not meant to be a great camping knife, really. So it has this very thin liner lock here. Spyderco paramilitary, on the other hand, of course, is beautiful locking backlock mechanism here, but still not as strong as the cold steel. These knives, all three of them, are beautiful knives. Don't get me wrong, but they don't have a one-hand opening system. So in case I need to open this knife, it will always be a two-hand opening system. It is not going to be a one-hand opening system. And really, in a situation where you're going camping, you should always be able to keep one hand for other tasks and one hand in which you can open the knife. Call me old-fashioned, but I love this knife. Beautiful, beautiful blade. And yes, if I did not put the context of one-hand opening, this would be one of my favorite knives to create camping. Folding knives to take camping. What can I say about the Buck 110 Folding Hunter that hasn't been said before? By the way, this is the Cabela's version. This has an S30V steel. Yeah. How cool is that? Beautiful, beautiful knife. Gorgeous design. Absolutely outstanding quality. And you can beat it as much as you want and nothing will happen to it. But same story, no one-hand opening. There are one-hand opening studs that you can put here. And I have friends who've done that, but it still doesn't give you the traction of a one-hand opening blade. And honestly, it's not a one-hand opening blade. It's not supposed to be one. And then we come back to the American Lawman. Now, I don't have to tell you this. Now, you've compared the design of all those knives, and now you look at this. And I would still always prefer this blade to carry camping. In case I have to carry a backup blade, not my main, not my blade, but my backup blade for camping, this would be it. The steel on this blade, this is an AUS 8 steel. Not the best steel in the world, but having said that, it sharpens back very quickly, so it will dull faster than, say, the S30V on this one. It will dull faster, but I can assure you that you can sharpen this really quickly on the field without any problems. So all in all, if you want to carry a folding knife to your next camping trip, look no further than the Cold Steel American Lawman. I hope this has been informational. I hope that this is useful. And do let me know your comments and do subscribe to our channel. From all of us at Wild About Gear, I wish you a wonderful day and God bless. Thank you.